and extreme low roll potential.
Nope. See ya. God. Dude!
Truly a feast or famine build. I'm Hammer, and I will be forcing Mercenaries 25 games in a row. I'm starting this at Gold 2, 55 LP, and let's see what happens. Do I rank up? Will I hit Mercs early enough? Often enough? How much will I improve? I literally have 2 games of Mercenaries under my belt, so I'm fairly certain there's going to be plenty of room for improvement. So, without further ado, on to the video. So here we are, game 1, ground 0, and I get some pretty good luck off creeps. Gangplank, super strong unit to get off creeps even when you're not trying to force Mercenaries because his ability can give you gold. And so I didn't hit Mercs at 2-1 this game unfortunately, but I did get Mercenaries off of Carousel. 2-5, running Mercs, not too bad, I'm pretty healthy, let's see what happens. Also, before we continue, allow me to explain the rules of this challenge real quick. I always have to pre-level on 1-3 for a higher chance of hitting Misfortune or Gangplank. I have to look hard for Mercenaries during stage 2. I'm not going to intentionally screw over my game by doing things like rolling away 20 gold looking for a Quinn.
Oh no, oh no. I really want to hit 5 Mercs. I think it's worth if I roll down a bit. Quinn. Dude. Hello.
But I am going to look for Mercenaries. And if I get 3 Mercenaries before stage 3, no matter what, I have to play them. Doesn't matter what my items are, doesn't matter if I have the perfect Innovator opener or Yordle opener, I have to play Mercenaries. After that, all is fair play. I don't need a certain size cash out or to play a certain composition after Mercenaries, I just need the 3 Mercenaries. Back to my first game. As you can see, I hit 5 Mercenaries, pretty good, a little bit of a high roll, and I was also rich this game, despite throwing away 20 gold, 25 gold, looking for a Quinn. I was very rich. I'm win streaking in stage 2, and I'm lose streaking in stage 3. But when it comes to cashing out, I was in for what we call a learning experience. So what is way harder than consistently losing is winning. Bad players, they lose all the time. Hitting Mercs and going on a losing streak is not particularly challenging. You just gotta get lucky hitting the Mercs. What is more challenging, however, is transitioning into a comp that will actually cash you out and win. Starting this challenge, I had very limited knowledge of how to actually cash out. I knew there was like 3 main paths, with the best and most common path being to run 4 Bruiser, 3 Chemtech with Urgot, and then you can also go for Yone, and for Jhin is also acceptable. This is all fine theoretically, but there were a lot of details that hadn't been fleshed out in my head. I didn't really know what items to slam or how to transition, and in game 1 I didn't even hit an Urgot, like ever. I got baited by 5 Mercs, and made me put in units I didn't need, and it made me keep units in too long, like Quinn. And I tunnel visioned on an Urgot I was doomed to never get. By the end of game 1, I was running 6 Bruiser with no carry, and I didn't even have Chemtech for my Mundo and Zac 2. I had no clue what was going on.
Bad. I'm dead. There's no way I take like 7 damage, right? I got a clean 7th. A clean 7th. A lot of improvement is needed.
Game 2 had a pretty nice start.
I got the allowy start and my only drop off first creeps. Let's go! Mercenaries 2-1.
So cashed out 3-2, pretty rich at this point. Challenger Heart, Fiora with a Nikos. I'm in a pretty good position to go Challengers. I go fast 8 with all this gold, and I gobble up so many forecasts that I don't know what to do with them. I'm going Challengers, I have a great Fiora, and for some reason there's like a Jhin 2, an Orianna 2. I just put them in there because, you know, they're good. And then for some reason, I pick Broken Stopwatch. I mean, this is obviously bait because my Jin and Ori are itemless, and they're only in my comp because they were lying around. Then I go and get third to 2 guys with actual thought out meta comps.
I'm dead! What?
Also, I'm pissed because I was about to get Jin 3. Game 3 was actually a Tactician's Crown game, and I actually sold the Leona that I got from taking Bodyguard Heart in the beginning. I sold her to level so that I can have a chance of getting GP and MF. I got decently lucky, hit Mercenaries off of Carousel. I was getting ready for a nice loss streak. You know, starting at 2-5, gonna cash out like 4-1. It's gonna be good, it's gonna be good. Then I accidentally cashed out 2 losses in.
I cashed out 3-1 accidentally. This is bad.
That's not good. I just invested a lot of resources into getting these mercenaries, and now I got the juicy cash out of 1 BF sword and 4 gold. Here's how that went.
That didn't go well.
Game 4, Prismatic Lobby, and I got 3 mercs on 2-1 again. So I cashed out a 7 loss streak at 3-3, and now I am very far ahead. I didn't mean to cash out quite this early, although it was probably for the better, because this GP, he had a Titans and a BT, and he slapped this early. He slapped. He made me so much money. And I was rich. I was rich. I put the GP items that slap so hard onto a very early Jace 2 with Synaptic Web Mutant Spat, and he carried me to first. It was a very fun game.
Let's go! That's my first.
Game 5, I didn't really get any mercenaries. I got the Alawi, but that's about it. I did, however, get this fantastic scrap opener and Yordles, so I was doing pretty good economically. But then, at 2-6, something happened. See, I was going Yordles, I had good Tristana items, and I wasn't in a super dominant position, but, you know, it was a fourth. It was a good fourth. But at 2-6, I hit Mercenaries. No rational person would play Mercenaries from this position. I'm at 74 health. There are 3 people destroying the lobby. I'm gonna run 3 trash 1-star units and lose streak to get a minor advantage? It doesn't make any sense. I'm gonna die. But the rules state that if I get Mercenaries before stage 3, I have to play them. And it wasn't stage 3. And you guys aren't here to watch me play my best. You guys are here to watch me play mercs. Let's go, baby.
So, I learned what happens when you do that with Mercenaries at like 2-6.
Game 6, I hit Mercenaries. I hit Mercenaries off of Carousel. And I'm playing just regular 3 mercs lose streak. But it's a prismatic lobby, and people are very strong, and I am taking a ton of damage. Did manage to hit 5 mercs. It wasn't until I was already at 46 health, so it's not ideal. But despite me taking some record damage in the early game, I managed to get my biggest cash out yet in this game. It was a 9-loss cash out, and it actually wasn't quite as impressive as I was hoping, and it didn't really give me enough direction, and I didn't have enough experience to really know what I was doing, and it's an 8th.
See ya. Oh god. Dude!
By this point, my LP was not looking pretty. We are in code red immediate lockdown. We are on the brink. We are about to drop down, and I fear for our chances of recovery. But the universe heard our pleas, and in Game 7, I got old reliable Mercenaries off of the Carousel, 2-4. And if Game 6 was to be my biggest cash out this far, Game 7 is going to be my most successful cash out so far. I cashed out level 8 with 2 Colossus, and this game, Riot was just shoving defensive items down my throat. And I decided to lean into it and just go double Colossus with full defensive items. And thankfully for me, there was very little ability power damage in this lobby. So I just had these 2 unkillable Titans. And my Urgot wasn't the best carry. He was lacking a defensive item, so kept dying to random AoE. But these Colossuses just carried me so hard. That's a first.
Oh, I'm happy with that one. I'm quite happy with that one.
Game 8 was a little bit of a high roll. I started with Mercenaries at 2-2. I got Hyper Roll and rolled it down in the first couple turns for Quinn. And I got Gangplank off of Creeps. Pretty good start. I cashed out while I was still healthy, and my rewards at 6 loss were pretty good. Look at this team. Fiora 3, Chemtech Tom, and I had so many items off of Mercenaries and Tom. I had a very strong board, I had a 3-star forecast, and I expected this to be a first. Except on the right end of my team, you can see I never hit the Jinx or the Urgot or even a Zac, which was pretty unfortunate. I mean, I was rolling down on 8 with Hyper Roll for like pretty much 2 stages, and I didn't hit Jinx or Urgot. Pretty sad. It sucks. I don't even think I was contested. And I will also say that you see on Tom, he has a challenger spat. That was not useful at all. That probably should have been on Urgot. Basically, challenges are good because when they get a takedown, they get attack speed, and then they dash to another unit. Then they get like resets. But my Tom had a lot of ability power, and whenever he got a takedown, he was taking down the person inside his belly. So instead of dashing and attacking a lot, like most challengers do, my Tom was sitting there throwing up, and he was throwing up golden items, which was useful, but the challenger spat wasn't being used very effectively. Challenger Tom isn't good. Jinx 1 and Urgot 1 are not good in stage 6. And Fiora 3 just didn't do enough. I don't know if it was the assassin spat. She definitely needed like sustain. Her abilities were critting because she was an assassin, and she had Giant Slayer, and I lost to a Colossus player, so I don't know how bad the Giant Slayer was. I guess she needed like Hodge. The assassin emblem is good if it lets her jump on a squishy immobile carry like Victor or Lux, but instead she just died from across the map to a Kaisa, so she definitely needed some survivability. I don't know, I don't feel like this should have been a 4th, but whatever, learning experience. Game 9. I got Mercs off the old carousel and started lost streaking at 2-5. You may have been able to tell by the footage, this is double up. Mercenaries interact in an interesting way with double up mechanics. Watch this. I'm trying to maintain my loss streak, but I go up against the weakest Yordle player of all time. I'm going to lose my streak.
I lied when I said I'm winning really hard. I'm going to lose.
This guy is outrageous. Oh, his homie's ganking. His homie's ganking. Oh, yes, his homie kicked my ass. Let's go. Dude, I killed his whole board and this homie showed up. 0 damage loss. Oh my god, it's a perfect world.
Also, your homie can cash you out, either on purpose or on accident. Losses do half damage, and you get an extra life at 1 health. So generally, cash outs can be bigger because you can go deeper. Overall, Mercs on double up are pretty good, especially if your homie ints with you. My homie, his name's Men, but his tag here is Rubber Ducky Rodeo, played a minor role in us getting a good placing here. He's a master player. I floundered in the late game, and my cash out didn't help. So basically, I just bled HP while my homie killed the rest of the lobby with his best in slot Shaco 3, Syndicate 7. And that's first. Game 10. Not much to say here, although this is the first game where I was completely unable to find Mercenaries, like at all. It was a double up game with Men, where I got stand behind me, so I just built bodyguards and enchanters and had an incredibly tanky team. And I attempted to carry myself with Jhin, but what actually happened was I just stalled long enough with my tanky, healy team for Men to come over and save my sorry ass.
It's Bromtu with Syndicate.
Bodyguard versus bodyguard?
This shit hasn't taken any damage. But he's got nothing else, so not a big deal.
Well,
and my homie showed up.
This is the last double up game for a bit, and I hit Mercenaries this time. I got two lost cash outs.
I just walked up and killed him.
So basically my homie showed up and cashed me out, and then prevented me from going on a loss streak. But what happened was, I was playing way too strong for how strong my partner was. Like, the only way that I start loss streaking in this lobby is if I sell the Vi, I sell the TF, and I just frontline 3 1-star mercenaries and just turbo int. But I was still in my like rank grind set of being a little bit weaker than the weakest guy in the lobby and like getting good losses. And so I was like running a TF2. I was running the bruiser trait. And then I just gave up on lost streaking altogether. I just slammed a Warmogs and a Declaw on a Swain, and then I started win streaking, and then I failed to pivot out of it. That's a third. But it's a third and double up, so it's really a sixth.
Dragon, oh shit.
Well, game 12. It's Krugs, and I haven't hit Mercenaries. This is very sad. I have been lost streaking. I don't even know what happened the rest of this game. All I know is I got 4th. Next game. Alright, you guys know that one scene from Shrek 2? When Shrek, like, goes into the fairy godmother's factory, and she's, like, making a potion, and then he says, hey, I want true love and a happily ever after. And then the fairy godmother's like, let me look at these fairy tales.
No ogres.
No ogres. You know that scene? So just replace a happily ever after with Mercenaries, replace Shrek with me, and replace the fairy godmother with Mort Dog telling me to not force the same comp every single game because you won't get it every game. Okay, so maybe I didn't have to make a reference to an obscure Shrek 2 scene that most people don't remember. But basically what I'm trying to say is I didn't hit Mercenaries. And then I forced Trundle and lost. Got 5th. On to the next game. Okay, game 14. In between game 13 and 14, I actually took some time to think down and write out like how to cash out and how to transition to a late game comp from the cash out comp and like which units I'm looking for when I have which items and stuff. So I think my results are going to start improving and I'm excited. So about the actual game 14, as you can see, I hit Pirates, and Pirates was way better than I expected it to be. It made me 15 gold on stage 2. I was level 9 by 5-2, so it was just incredibly strong. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to transition it into a first, and that's almost definitely because I played bad. And the other guy was pretty strong with 8 Arcanists, but I should have definitely been able to win this game. And I'm disappointed that I didn't. Game 15. I hit Mercenaries 2-1. Didn't start losing until 2-2 though. And this game was overall pretty good. I didn't really streak as long as I wanted to. I had a couple like accidental cash outs and stuff because it's double up and I just haven't gotten good at making sure that doesn't happen. But I pulled off a transition that I was overall pretty happy with Sniper Shojin Giant Slayer Victor with 4 Scholar. I was pretty happy with this because it's not even a comp on like TFT Tactics, which is like what I normally use. So this was my own little creation and it was working pretty good.
Oh my god, I'm so strong.
It wasn't perfect. I lost a couple late game matches here and there. But I think this was going to be a first because I was with the master player and he went Mutant Colossus and kind of high rolled. But a funny thing happened.
Socialite Emblem,
Oh.
Redemption, or Warmogs?
Wait, where the fuck did my Cho'Gath go? Huh? Hello? Where the fuck's my Cho'Gath?
My homie's Cho'Gath went back into the void from whence he came. And he took 2 items with him. I don't know what happened, man. Like, he didn't sell them. He didn't send them to me because his items disappeared too. So, yeah. That's not good. We lost. So, I took the comp that I learned in Double Up just now, and then I played it in solo queue. I played Victor with Shojin, Chemtech, Transition. Yeah. Unfortunately, I hit Mercenaries at 2-5, not 2-1, so I was a lot lower HP, especially because it wasn't double up, and I didn't have as good rewards. So the Victor 2 that carried me last game, well, there was no Nico to turn it into a Victor 2, and I couldn't go level 9. It was a Victor 1, along with a Jinx 1, and Victor 1 and Jinx 1 aren't nearly as good as Victor 2 and Jinx 2, so that was a 4th. I am getting a lot better at the pivot, though. I'm not picking up random Yones and random Jins and random Orianas, Brahms that I don't need. I'm thinking about what I got, and I'm sticking to it. So there's definitely some improvement there. Like, I feel like this was a bad performance from me, and it was a 4th. That's a lot better than the 2 8ths in a row. So I feel like I'm improving a lot. Also, my victor was a sitting duck for assassins, and I knew there was an assassins player in the lobby that was really strong. And then I scouted, I saw what side he was on, and then I just stuck to the side that I was on that left me vulnerable to his assassins. And I just like stared it down, and for some reason I thought it was a good idea. Like, but I left my front line away. Oh my, I'm pissed at myself. I'm actually just pissed. Game 17, it's going pretty well. I'm loose streaking, stage 2. I hit Mercenaries pretty early, and I actually got surprised this game because someone full opened on me at 3-1. And he did it on purpose to stop my loose streak. And when I lost to him, he said, "Heh, got him." And I'm not going to lie, I would have definitely had way better items and more gold this game had he not full opened on me. But if you look at the end screen, who got 4th and who got 2nd? That's what I thought, TFT Lover 88. Game 18 is what I would call a classic screw up. So I slammed some items early game, so it was a little awkward transitioning into Mercs, but when I did hit Mercs at 2-5, it went all right. The problem was that I transitioned poorly. Here's my comp when I cashed out, and here's my comp at the end of the game. It didn't change much. I really needed better items. First off, Warmogs and Spear didn't really fit, and I needed to hit Jinx. My team really didn't change as much as it had to. I mean, just look at my traits. 6 Chemtech, not all it's cracked up to be. And it's not cracked up to be much. This game was a tilter and also shows some fundamental problems with Mercenaries. Now, the game started good, in fact very good. I hit Mercenaries at 2-3, and before that I was lost streaking with Yordles. I was very rich. On top of that, I had pairs of all the mercs, so hitting a 2-star of each would be easy during a roll down. This made a cash out much easier. And I had decent items for Yone and hit plenty of challengers, so I decided to go Yone carry. I had a 3-item, 2-star Yone, and was level 8 at 4-2. Now, looking at my team, there's still work to do, but my board was pretty good. I also had a Chemtech Bramble Gunblade Tom Kench, which was doing work and scaling slowly. You may be looking at this board and wondering, what exactly is this fundamental problem of Mercenaries? I'm looking pretty strong. Well, the thing is, I make some mistakes in the late game, and I can't correct them because I die, no matter how good my position. I have Yone 3, but unfortunately, I went up against a CC bot, and I had a dangerous Negatron shortage this game, so I don't have QSS, I don't have Bloodthirster, and his Cog 3 shredded my Yone 3 because my Yone 3 just stood still for multiple seconds. Now, there's a simple solution to this. Up against Scion, you just put your carries away from your team. And then your Scion, who targets the biggest group of enemy units, ults garbage, while your carries shred his team. But I didn't do that. I couldn't correct this mistake because I was dead from going on a 9-loss streak earlier in the game. I made a positioning blunder late game, and instead of being able to correct it, I died. This is the fundamental problem of Mercs. The stronger you get off of the cash out, the less mistakes you can afford. Game 20, only 6 games left. And let me tell you, I didn't sound tilted commenting that last game, but at the time when I was playing, I was tilted out of my mind, and it shows in this next game. I also got bad RNG. So let me set the stage. Remember all those times earlier in this challenge where I said I didn't hit Mercs? Well, I was always saying, well, it looks like I didn't hit at Krugs, but I always had like 40, 30, 20 gold. You know, what gives? I should have just rolled down and hit the Mercs. I felt like the guy at the top for this game. And I thought, just one more roll. GP is hiding right behind this next shop. And sometimes that works, but this time it didn't. I spent over 20 gold in stage 2 rolling, looking for Mercenaries. And this isn't a sound investment even if you hit Mercenaries. And I didn't hit. I got some weird prismatic assassin crown bullshit, and I was just floundering, trying to move with some god awful Ionic Spark Death Cap Assassin Lysandra thing, and got a clean 8th. Here's the team. This was the saddest game I've had in a while. Yeah, I don't know about going Assassin Crown when you already have 6 Assassin, but I was done at this point. I was so sad. Alright, it's game 21, and I can't wait to get out of this challenge. I was in a situation this game that begged for me to slay my items and win streak. Early Bodyguard Emblem with Sunfire components and Bruiser Cho'Gath. It was too juicy to pass up. But then, instead of having this unkillable beast and burning away my opponents in stage 2, I hit Mercenaries at 2-5 and had to sell everything. 6 lost cash out, and for some reason, after I cashed out, I went Assassin Spat Reroll Samira with Share the Spotlight, but I had no Infinity Edge. I'm almost certain there were better options to transition to this game. As a side note, Assassin Samira needs Infinity Edge. She does not do nearly enough damage without it. Next game.
No, I fucking died. Oh my. Oh.
So apparently I have no footage of game 22, although I know that it happened. Apparently I didn't hit Mercenaries, went 4 Academy, 4 Challenger, and got a clean 4th. Here's a picture of Yone, and on to the next game.
How much of a gamer am I? This is a question we must all ask ourselves. I have hit Mercenaries at 2-7 after win streaking with Yordles. And it seems like playing Mercenaries here is the worst possible decision in regards to my MMR I could possibly make. But
We're playing Mercenaries at 3-1, baby. So, game 23. I kind of just stumbled into Mercs this game, and I stumbled into them very late. 2-6, in fact. And let me tell you, if you think going Mercs that late is bad for some reason, you're right, because it is. It's terrible. I was healthy before I went Mercs, and that allowed me to bait myself into going super deep into the chest in stage 4. My cash out was really not exciting, and I cashed out with 3 HP at 5-1. I lost streaked for the entirety of stages 3 and 4, and all I got was a loaded dice.
Woo! Oh my god. Alright, what do we got here? Boom. Fucking nothing.
My cash out was so bad because of how late I started lost streaking. I took so much damage for losing in stage 4. It was not worth it at all. That was a failed experiment. I wonder, what would you do in this situation? Do you take out the GP and put in a Seraphine 1? Do you look for a Bruiser to replace a Lowy with? Like, you know, you're not going to really hit a 2-star, right? So is it really stronger? Do you put the Hodge on Oriana? Well, turns out it doesn't matter. Because you're going to face the guy that went Mercenaries on 2-1, and he's got an Urgot 3 with best in slot. So, eat shit, buddy.
Well, I had fun. I had a lot of fun. So that counts for something, right? 7th?
Game 24, it's the twin shot dream, baby. I didn't get Mercs in until 3-1, but I didn't force myself to lose with them, so it's not a big deal that I got them in that late. What is more notable, though, is that this was a triple prismatic lobby, and I got 3 good augments that synergized together. I got Cybernetics, Twin Shot Soul, and Stand United. Tons of bonus AD. I figured if there was a game for 6 Twin Shot, it was this one. Unfortunately, I used my cybernetics to win streak early and had a Runons for Urgot stuck on my Kog'Maw. And I didn't really realize this until it was too late because I was too busy feeding my Tahm Kench. I feel like with 3 combat augments, I definitely could have gotten first, but I was too focused on feeding my Tahm to get the Runons off of Cog. Also, I went GP3 this game. I had to do it at least once during this challenge, and this is the game to do it. Never mind that I'm pretty sure I would have done way better if I just sold him and just put in a naked GP2 and put his items on Jinx or Urgot. Also, I died with 33 gold and a Jinx 1 with 3 items. Whoops, I probably should have rolled down. Regardless, some misplays, but it's a third. Could have managed my items better, but third, not bad. This looks like a game where first place was handed to me on a silver platter, but through hard work, determination, and extreme mismanagement, I turned it into a third. Game 25, the grand finale. I know if I was Dream or something, I'd probably stage a game, just keep playing, smurfing, waiting for an extreme 7 mercenary high roll. Put it here with some epic music, have a bunch of cliffhangers. But I ain't about that. Mostly because I've just been sitting on this footage for a while, and now that set 6.5 is released on the PBE, I just really gotta upload this shit. This footage is gonna be outdated and done soon. So anyway, because I don't want to stage anything, the grand finale, game 25, is me not hitting Mercenaries, forcing Arcanist Yordle, and getting 4th. Woohoo! How fun. Anyway, time for some closing thoughts. I got a lot better at Mercenaries, although I'm sure people who are better than me were pulling their hair out at some points in this video because of my misplays, even later into the challenge. In terms of LP gain, I went from gold 3 to plat 4, which in all honesty is actually pretty surprising, because of how many times I screwed over my game really hard just to force Mercenaries for a YouTube video. I'm also aware that I still have a long way to go at getting good at Mercenaries. I mean, this is the feast or famine comp, 1st or 8th, and when I avoided getting 8th, I didn't get 1st. I feel like with some better gameplay on my end, those 4ths and 3rds could be 1sts. But hey, 4th is better than 8th, and I was getting 8th at the beginning of this challenge. Did this challenge help me improve? Yes. Did it help me improve more than just actually playing the game? At Mercs, yes. At the game, no. Would I ever recommend forcing Mercs this hard? No. And of the 25 games I played, I hit Mercenaries 20 times. But you know how many times I hit Mercenaries on 2-1? 2. Yeah, that shit's a lot rarer than I thought it was. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and like and subscribe and all that stuff, and bye.